One. Hello, everybody. I am D Hill. Thank you for joining us on Of Two Mindsets today. As you can see, I'm not alone, even though I'm not with my regular crew. Joining me tonight is Mr. Michael Smith. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Francis Smith and White LLC. But he's a lot more than that. We're going to get into that a little bit later. How you doing tonight, Michael?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself, sir?
Doing well, man. I'm loving that sweatshirt.
I appreciate it, man. Try to do a little merchandise advertisement while I'm on the show tonight. But I
Gotcha,
appreciate you
gotcha.
having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad you were able to join us. Um, Last week we had a gospel quartet singer on, and
Okay.
I realize I don't know you that well. What type of music are you into, Michael?
Man, I hate to say it, man. I'm still that old school R&B, man. I really like
Yeah,
R&B, slow jams. I do like gospel, but
gotcha.
um, I like that, soft jam with your lady,
Right.
candlelight type stuff. And then
Nothing wrong with
sometimes
that.
sometimes I listen to rap if I'm working out, but mostly it's slow jams, man. Slow jam.
I got you. So if we were to hop in the car with you right now, that's what we would be listening to on the way to the basketball court.
Listen, absolutely not right. So right now I'm glad since you said that I listen to audiobooks mostly. I'm all
What?
I
Okay.
so
Okay.
so I was riding. I have a mobile education system. Anytime I get in my car, it's audiobooks, financial
Awesome.
books. I don't really like any fiction type novels. It's all about education, 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 and getting better every day. So I surround myself with it.
I am also a nonfiction guy, but right now I'm reading the first fiction book that I've read in a long time. And
Okay.
it's this book right here behind me,
I see it.
Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. It's a very good
Okay.
book so far. I just started reading it this
Okay.
week. So, what are you reading or what are you listening to right
Man, I probably go through maybe 2, 3 books every other day.
now? Yeah,
Right now I'm listening to a book I just got. It's called Good to Great by Jim Collins. So I have a saying, if you know me, I always try to go from good to great. A lot of people go from good to bad. So
right.
when I came across this title, I said, interesting. This is what I always say. Let me read it, and it's spot on. So I'm
I
about
see.
halfway through it now, but talking about the different levels of leadership and how to sustain excellence. So
Okay.
I'm like that, and this is probably the first non-financial book I've read probably in the last 3 months. So it's a nice switch and change from getting out of debt, stock market, option strategies and stuff like that. So
I see.
it's refreshing.
Have you always been into the finance or thoughts about money? Were you always good with money, or were you always studying
So with me, we cut from the same cloth for the most part. We grew up, strong family ties, so to say, in the community with us. So money has never been like abundant, in
it?
excess
Right.
for me and my family. So it's always been something I tried to obtain, but I've always been good with money. So I've already knew how to make a dollar since working at a car wash in my youth with my uncle. But then when I got older, I started seeing how money works. And that's when it's triggering me, economics and everything. And then how
Yeah.
money cycles over and over and over. So um, I just now like reading up on it and say, hey, it's not hard as it seems.
So tell us about working at the car wash. What lessons did you learn there?
So people ask me, to this day, why do you get up so early? I
Right.
said, because you got to go get it. I got to be able to, eat my breakfast, clean my room, get my stuff. And then I wasn't driving, so I had to catch my ride to get to the car wash. And when I get to the car wash, people like to come early to get their car done before work or, throughout the day before it get too hot. So we try to get out there early before the sun come out because
Right.
being in North Carolina, that sun is crazy. So I took that work ethic and then we got paid in cash a lot. So it was
Mm,
always, I had money, I had cash. I wasn't putting in the
right.
bank, so being able to see how money changes hand. And nobody was using debit cards at the time. It was just, hey, car wash $20, $30. Here's a tip. Give me $5 or a couple of bucks. And I always had cash money on me.
It's
So,
always been good with money, or
always,
always money
always,
conscious.
yeah, always had money conscious, had the cash flow. It was always, you always had money. Yeah.
I did a little research on you, brother, and
Okay.
I heard that even in the ninth grade, you were trying to help your mama budget her check. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah. I always, yeah. I said, I don't know, man. Just, growing up, I always saw how people had things, and I attribute success to things. But to get those things, you had to be a good steward of what you had. So
Right.
if someone gave us $1,000 by the weekend, it's gone because you get it and the money just goes. And there was no ever thought process of being, let me save for the future, or let me, before I spend it, how am I going to replace it? And then get into a budget, and sustaining a budget. And I think, and a lot of people are able to start something,
Right.
and be real dialed in. And then are you going to finish? How are you going to set it up for, that generational wealth aspect, and financial literacy?
Absolutely. She said that she would be really rich by now if she had taken your advice back then.
Yeah. But uh, the way I was growing up, I saw my family work hard,
Right.
and
Right.
that's what they instilled with me. Don't complain. And Tia had something. She said, "Don't compete, compare, complain." And when she told me that, what she tell her clients, that really stuck with me, because why am I competing with anybody? Because it's my race, and I'm not going to complain about because I almost died back in 2017, no,
Uh,
2018. I'm sorry. So I don't complain about being alive.
so, so you just threw two things on us.
Oh,
I might know some things about you, but the people listening might. So, first of all, who is Tia?
Tia is my wife. I met Tia the first day she was on college. I saw her. I told my frat brothers, "There's my wife. We've been
Wow.
rocking together ever since." I've probably been
How
making
long
it.
ago was that?
It was We got married 19 years ago. It'd be 20 years next year. We've probably
Mhm.
been, rocking with each other for about 24 years.
That's awesome, man, and
Yeah,
that is rare,
yeah,
and especially for people. I'm a little bit older than you, but I can say people our age.
yeah, man. I
Yeah.
and Tia has seen me develop. I would truly say, from trying to get the fast money in my 20s,
Right.
jumping into the military, the challenge that we faced medically when I was coming out of the military, and then transitioning from the military to civilian life, and then now on this journey. But I always tell people I retired my wife from working 15 years ago, and that's something that people don't understand, but that means something to me, that she's able to raise our children without having to worry about going out, punching in, and getting into that work-life balance. It's just life for
That's
her.
got to be a beautiful feeling. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, was maybe
Okay.
to be able to give just a few bits of advice to younger listeners and even some our age. And you don't have to do that right now. I
Okay.
want to go to the other thing that you threw on us
Okay.
out of nowhere. You said you almost died. Would you like
Oh
to tell
man.
us a little bit
I
about that?
I said that was probably the most challenging time for me, because I was, I was in the military, and I fought hard to get my first unit, and my
Mhm.
first unit was about to go down range. So I'm gearing up for deployment to go to Afghanistan. And about maybe in 2017, I had a foot surgery, and I told the doc, I said, "Don't do the foot
Okay.
surgery on me if it's going to stop me from getting downrange, because that's the thing. You got to go downrange if you're in the military. That's just rites of passage." So he
All
said,
right.
"Yeah, you take
Let me
it
stop you.
six." Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What does downrange mean?
Going, to going to war, going down range.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
going down range. So
I
let me just
appreciate it.
let me talk civilian.
Hey, that's
So
one of
going.
the things I have to tell the people about you. I've learned so many military terms. Like I always stop you. Like what the hell is tracking? And
Yeah, track. Listen. You know what? I got everybody, and I work for Wellstar Health System now in Georgia. I got everybody saying tracking,
right,
and tracking
right,
can mean whatever you want it to mean. But it
right.
for the most part, it's like I understood your last transmission. I'm tracking it.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
when
Sorry
I
for
was,
interrupting your
no,
story.
you're good. So
Yeah.
when I was preparing to go to Afghanistan, I got a foot surgery, recovered from the foot surgery, and then they found out they did something wrong. So I had to do a second foot surgery within 6 months. So I'm on my back for probably about 8 months. And
Wow.
then when I healed up, I've always been a physical specimen when it comes to the gym because I'm always working out. So I'll always lose my breath. I walk up a flight of stairs, I'm winded. I said, man, I know I ain't been doing cardio, but I had blood clots was coming from my leg to my lungs, and I
Wow.
didn't know it.
Wow.
So one day I collapsed, woke up, I was in the ER, and then that's when I knew. I was like, man, what happened? It was like 6, 7 doctors in there. They were like, how are you still alive? I said, what you mean? They showed me the clocks that was breaking from the back of my leg on like a ultrasound type thing.
Wow.
And then my leader came in and said, we're gonna take your unit from you. They took all my equipment. 90 days later, I'm a civilian. So at that time, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But my time with the military, they taught me everything that I needed. I didn't have to go downrange or to Afghanistan because they've already shaped me for the next phase of my life, which is creating this company, being a consultant for Wellstar and doing things like that. So when I tell you it was truly a blessing, a gift and a curse, because
Right.
I really wanted to go, but at the end of the day, man, everything I'm doing now, I see how the military culture shaped me, and I try to bring those things, practices, and techniques that I learned into my company, as well as the things I do for any organization that I'm a part of. So
Gotcha.
so those are the two things that that you didn't know.
I see. I see. Well, appreciate you sharing that, man. That's a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
touchy stuff. I
Yes.
know, and a lot of people probably don't know that about you.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Izzy to the show. Izzy, how you
Izzy,
doing?
What's going on?
how you doing, sir?
What's going on, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I got a question. When I looked at y'all emblem, is that a rook that y'all have?
It is,
So
yes.
so who's stability and who represents strength? So out of the two of y'all, which one is that?
Well, this is Izzy. Izzy is not on the
Oh,
logo.
oh,
That's
oh, I'm
RJ
sorry.
on the logo, and
RJ,
RJ is not
RJ.
with us tonight.
Okay.
But I can't answer that question without him being here because that would be unfair. So
You tell RJ I want to know who's stability and who's strength, because that's that's the second most powerful piece in the chess game, behind the queen.
I would say that is the. Oh yeah, you're right
Yeah,
because the
you're right. It's
king is not really
it's it's
powerful.
it's,
He's just
it's
important.
yeah, and life is a game of chess. That's when I saw it. I
Exactly.
said, "Ooh!" I said, "Look at that! I wonder which one, who's the strength, who's stabilizing everything." I knew what I thought by knowing
Right.
you, but I don't know RJ. Was it RJ or RD?
RJ. Yeah.
RJ. Yeah. So
Well, we
tell
all play chess. We all play chess. Izzy plays chess,
is
and
it
that's what binds us.
time out? Do y'all play chess or do y'all just casually play chess? I play about 10 games a day.
Oh snap, Izzy, I'll let you answer
Oh, we play. Well, I play, but
that.
it's hard to find people to play with though.
I'm gonna send Dietrich a link to the online chess community that I'm with. I'm probably about 2,000 games in.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
But I play like, I'm boring for the world that's gonna see this. I don't really do social media. I play chess, I read books, and I go to work. And I love my family. And
Absolutely.
sometimes that's all you need. But chess, and I know D played chess, but I'm like, do you play chess?
It's a great way to form community and
Absolutely.
fellowship and to keep in touch with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we were talking about your military career and your would you consider that an injury or an illness?
Hmm.
And would you say that because you were already a disciplined person that you were able to have a good career in the military, or was it the military that made you disciplined?
So with me, the military showed me that everybody is so diverse. Everybody is struggling with the same thing. We're all the same. You cut me, we all bleed red. But what it did tell me, some people were there for the wrong reason. Some people were there to get away from something. Some people were there because they just wanted to have fun. But I always came into the military for one reason, and that was to learn, and then train. And then as you learn stuff, you just train. And it became like, oh yeah, you don't know how to do it. You get better with training.
Right.
So then when I learned that, that everywhere you go, they're just going to train you to death. If you don't know how to do it, okay, we're going to train you to proficiency. And then the sustainment piece came from that you can do the same task in the rain, the snow, the sleet, with 5 people, with 4 people, with nobody. You can do it with 1,000 troops. You can do it in the snow, the desert, the sea, whatever. So I was like, oh, so it made you adapt to the changing environment that's around you. So now when I come in situations, I'm just like, I just know how to get to yes. And that's what it taught me by any means necessary.
And I'm sure that repetition, that forced repetition, makes you better at whatever it is you're doing.
And that is the biggest thing that civilians don't do. They don't take pride in the training piece. They just want to come in, everything is done, and go home. But I always tell my organization that if you focus on training, everything would be much better. If you have that training mentality like the military does.
Who taught you chess, or how did you learn chess, rather?
So there was a Navy. No, he was an Air Force. When I was teaching at the schoolhouse in San Antonio, and we would sit there. Hurry up and wait was the thing in the military. You get somewhere, old dark 30 in the morning, and then you just wait. And so he was like, "Hey man, you play chess?" I said, "No." He sent me the link that I'm gonna send you, and we started to play. And
Wow.
and his name was the Rook. And he used to beat me so bad, and I beat him one time, and then he PCS. I never seen him again. But it stuck with me because he was like, if I make a move, you had to hurry up and make your move. So it was a constant thing where you can't make a move and wait 2 days. You had to make a move, and then that got me in the love of the game. But he never really taught me. He taught me by I lost to him constantly, over and over and over. He would beat me with like 2, 3 moves. I'm like, man. Then I start countering that. Then he'll do something else. But he would never use his rooks. He would never move them. He would beat me with the other pieces. And then when I gotten better, he started moving his rooks because I forced him to strategize, and that's the thing. That's why I like it so much, because you meet somebody, you may make one move, they make a move, then they give up. You meet somebody else, they make a move, you make a move, they make a move, they give up. You start meeting more people with more depth. As you make a move, they're countering your moves. Who's going to give up first? And if you can't give up, just do a stalemate. And then what you do, you start the game over. And that's what I'm learning. And that's what I try to bring to whoever I touch. What's your next move?
For sure.
And if you know me, that's how I've been. And that's what I wake up and I go get it the same way every day.
You can, it's such a great game because you can apply it to different life situations, and you're constantly playing chess in all that you do, and that's how you move forward. So tell us, what is a cytotechnologist?
Oh, cytotech. It's the study of cells. That's what it's based. So I look for cancer. So how I got into that, I'm a scientist by trade. So in the military, I was really good on the microscope. So someone saw something and said, hey, you need to go to cytoscope. Like you said, what's cytology? So I went and did a crash course for George Washington University. I got the degree in about a year certification, and then the rest is history. But that's how I listen to so many audiobooks. So while I'm screening, I'm listening to audiobooks.
Gotcha.
So I love it, man. So if you get diagnosed with cancer or anything, they take a sample, they send it to the lab. We look at it and say, oh, yes, this is cancer. This is benign or whatever.
When you first, let's say, graduated high school, did you have any inclination that you would be in the medical field?
Yes, I wanted to be a doctor when I was growing up. But when I went to college, they was like, oh, I wanted to play basketball too. And it was like, you're not going to have time. So I said, well, let me go to nursing school. And so it would track on the same prereqs courses. Got into nursing school. I never ended up playing basketball. Long story short, I guess I wasn't that good. But when I got into nursing school, I realized that I really didn't like touching patients. I just don't like it. And then when it was introduced to me in the military about lab science, I said, "Ooh, I like that." And then I never looked back.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I had a question.
What you got, Izzy?
Off subject, but as far as when you're looking at a culture of sales, trying to tell whether it's cancerous or benign,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the pointers that you're looking for? Like what are you looking for?
So when was the last time you got on the highway to drive?
Every day.
So every day, when traffic is going smooth, right? It may be slow, but it's moving, right?
Right.
Have you ever seen a traffic when there's an accident? What happens? You
Yeah,
see
everything is backed up.
and that's how cancer is. When the cells are running smooth, everything is nice and neat, and you screening, and everything is running smooth. Soon as cancer, everything starts clumping together. So now it's not smooth. Now I have to stop and drop down and do a deeper dive and see if it's still in integrity in those cells. If not, you see the nucleus is enlarged, the irregular nuclear membrane. Just like if a car crashes, it used to be a car, but sometimes the car might look like somebody ripped it in half. So that's cancer. And then
Okay.
sometimes if you like you driving tonight, the highway is wide open. That's normal, But then as you get, rush hour, it starts slowing down. So those are warning signs when I'm looking at the slide. It may be reactive. It may look like they may have some type of yeast infection or candida, or it may be some type of trauma to the cells that you'll see, and you'll see the reactivity. That's a warning sign. We just say it's reactive, doc, and then they do further studies. So it's just, doing the same practices. You wake up every morning, I forgot the artist that said today was a good day. You made it to work, no accidents. Every time you see an accident, that's what cancer looks like for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
A major accident.
So you're not like extracting from the patients. You're not touching the patients or anything yourself.
Sometimes when you do fine needle aspiration, so say you have a lump in your neck, on your breast, or under your arm, we can go in and assist the clinician to retrieve the samples when they stick the needle in you, they'll give us those needles, and we flush the bezel of the needle out to get the cells. Then we process it, put it on a slide, and then give them information. And then if it's something cancerous, then they'll go and do a biopsy and send it to histology, where they look at the layers of the tissue to see the depth of the invasion of those cancerous cells. So a lot of boring stuff, but it's like it's how can I say, it was a blessing in disguise, because now that I am 100% disabled, I can't do a lot of the physical stuff. So I sit behind a scope all day and use my brain.
Right.
The Lord had a nice plan for me for all the sacrifices I made in my youth. So
also, a little birdie told me that when you were young, you used to sit on the couch and watch the Animal Channel all day.
Love it. Yes. The reason why I did it, because and my wife, sometimes she say I'm boring again, but to look at, because the freedom of those animals, right? As opposed to you go to see a lion in the zoo, still the same lion, but you take his natural instinct of being a hunter and the king of the jungle, and you encage him. And I feel like as a Black man, sometimes that's how I feel, like I'm a caged lion, because we have so much to offer, but we're trapped in society that you got to be a certain way. Naturally, we are kings, right? And we talking about the chessboard. That, to me, that's the Black man's life. You're a king, but you're technically the weakest piece on the board when you own the board.
You're going too deep on us now, Mike.
Yeah.
Going too deep on us, bro.
So that's why I like the lion, the animal kingdom, looking at the lions, because I like to see people in their natural habitat, to see who's really the dominant force. Because if a lion walked in your house right now, I don't care what you think, that you control your house, you're going to act a certain way. You can either try to get out there or get out the way, or be like, is this for real? You may pinch yourself a couple of times, because that's not his natural habitat. Yeah. So I like to see people, how they behave in their natural environment, because you see the true identity of who you're dealing with.
Are you still a person who cares about animals? You have animals of your own?
Yeah, I do, but it's different now. I like big dogs, but I don't have time for big dogs anymore.
Mhm.
Normally, we get a dog and Tia ends up taking care of the dog. We have a little lap dog now, and we treat it like a person. So, but I'm so busy, in and out. And I think if you have an animal, you gotta have time for it.
Trust me, I know. I have one, and yes, I have to have time for
You
it.
have to. It's a must.
Exactly. So let's move on to
And I
what
like your
we.
research, man. You did your.
Hey, I told you I had a few surprises for
Oh man, yes.
you. Yeah. In 2021,
Hmm.
we saw the GameStop phenomenon happen.
Hmm.
Had you started studying the stock market at that time? Where were you in stock knowledge back then?
So when that GameStop time happened, we was focusing on AMC because AMC and GameStop kind of simultaneously. So the stocks that we were trading at that time was Fuel Cell, and you remember from Fuel Cell,
Absolutely, absolutely.
AMC, and I did a call. AMC was going to bankruptcy, so now I'm telling people to look at SAVE stock with they're going through the same thing, and that's Spirit Airlines. They're going through the same thing that AMC was going through around the same time, pending bankruptcy in December.
Mm.
Now, GameStop, I don't even see how GameStop is even still here with the way you can download games on every device, but
Right, right.
people can manipulate stocks. So at the time, we was focused on AMC. I just got introduced to placing options. So a lot of my clients, we were focusing on Fuel Cell and AMC because I always say focus on two pennies at a time. GameStop just came out of nowhere.
I had totally forgotten about AMC, man. That was a big deal too at the time. Yeah.
It was. So all of my clients and myself, we made money off AMC. But then when GameStop soared, I was like, no, don't get in that because it's too volatile. But some people were still trying to, buying it late. Then it swing back down to 50. Then it swing back up to 100, whatever the price points were. But when it was happening, I was like, ooh, I got a lot of people trying to learn about the stock, but you was learning it for the wrong reason.
Mm.
That's just like if one of us hit the Powerball and you say, okay, how you hit the Powerball? What are you going to tell them? You just got lucky.
Right. Right.
It's not no rhyme or reason. What numbers did you pick? What was your strategy? There's billions of people placing bets every day in the stock market.
Right.
But what I'm learning now is how to see those signs that short float interest, it was increased, it was high on those type of stocks during the time. So that's the volatility index is going to go up and down. So now that I'm more wiser, I know how to screen for stocks that can do what GameStop did then. And I send y'all some stocks after this that are setting up for that same action that GameStop and AMC did
So
4 years ago.
so we just sort of jump into it, and I wanted to do it that way. But
Okay.
you're in the medical field.
Yeah.
What are you doing with messing with stocks also? Tell us about FSW and the whole deal.
So FSW, and remember, I tie everything together. So being a scientist in the medical field, I'm looking at charts and graphs and relationships of everything that I do. I take that same principle and apply it to the stock market because it's just charts and graphs and relationships when you get on the technical side of it. Most people that come in contact me superficially, they just want, oh, give me the Tesla stock, give me the NVIDIA. And I was like, okay, you can have those, but there's other stocks. If you truly want to be successful, you got to get into that fundamental side and the technical side of knowing what you're looking at. So how I got into it, it was just that, I see something that people think is challenging and I like complex things. But when I start diving into it, it wasn't complex at all. This is by far the easiest thing I've done in my life. But society, once it makes it like it's hard, so we can still get stuck in our environment of not investing, but spending. Now, everybody that probably got some type of investment, 401k, 403b, whatever. So you're doing it anyway, but you're not in control of your environment. Whoever your Fidelity, your E-Trade, your Transamerica, whoever you're using, they're controlling your money and giving you a piece of what belongs to you anyway. So just give me 100% of what I'm going to make you. I don't want you to make 100% off my money and give me 40% of it. Why would I do that? So I
I hear
learned how to do it myself.
you. So, um, FSW, this is Francis Smith White
Right.
LLC. This is a company that you started. Tell us a little bit about the beginnings of the business, if you will, if you wish to.
So in the beginning, so at Francis Smith and White are the last names of all my brothers and Tia brothers. So what I want to do is, while we was away in the military, I never had, I left in 2005, and I missed a lot of holidays with my family, going out with my brothers and stuff. So that's what I wanted to do when I created this company, was bring my family together. So you remember when I first came to Georgia back in 2018, we all came to my house. We went out on the city, and it was family,
Right.
and I truly had a great time. And then when we was there, I try to be business-like, say, hey, okay, we can have fun and do business too. So when that was the reason why I did it, it was more for me to reconnect with my brothers and my family.
Right.
And so when it started getting into more of a business minded, I was like, ooh, there's something here. And that's when we start doing the subs, and that's when we start doing more coaching. And there was a blessing in disguise with COVID, because everybody shifted to cryptocurrency. Everybody shifted to
Yeah.
Dogecoin. Everybody
Yeah.
shifted to Tesla. And there was another stock that went berserk during that time as well. I can't think of it, but Tesla was the one that was bringing more people into the market. I don't know if those people are still in it, but if you are, you see that Tesla surged today, I believe, almost $20-$30 after they, I think they did their earnings today, but they made an announcement and they did pretty good. So it's just repeating itself.
Yeah.
So when the company started, right now I did some restructuring of the company because I needed to be more focused. If I'm gonna be a business, I need to have it more, how can I say, not more of a family type thing, but more if someone want to come in. Ultimately, I'm looking to sell this eventually,
Right.
uh,
Right.
and if someone to come in and buy it from me. So I had to make sure it looks good when I put my business plan out there, and when I put it in front of another bank. And like I said, I'm trying to sell it to a bank, and say, hey, this is something I have. Do you like to tap into it? It's focusing on minorities. Are you interested? One bank already told me no, so just know I've tried already, but they was like, you're too small for us. But
It always
it's the
starts with
beginning.
no. So
Yeah, it's always starts with no. Yeah,
that's
you're right.
what is the service or services that you offer?
So right now we just provide coaching, and I like sustainability coaching. So a lot of times when people get into anything new, you go hard the first month or the first week. Then after you have a couple of wins, you say, okay, I got it. But when you have a couple of losses, it deters you.
Right.
So when we come in, it's a constant, don't quit, get better. How did you lose? Let's set up plays so you can, have more wins than losses. But to me, it's a journey because I partner with you. So when we come in there, you have to set goals. Using the SMART acronym, making sure they're specific, measurable, achievable. The R escapes me, and timely. So we do those things, and then we start going in and show you how to be a good steward of your finances, and then we add the component of investing in the stock, option, bonds, and things like that. So it's more of coaching, reinforcement, and accountability. And then once you get, I should have said this at the opening, get everybody attention. My goal is to get you to 100,000. All my
Wow.
clients get to 100,000.
That's
So once
awesome.
I get you to 100,000, that's when people really is like, okay, I got all this money, Mike. I'm scared now. And I remind my client, I just remind one yesterday, I did what I said I was going to do. I was going to show you how to get to 100,000. Now, what do you want to do? First thing they said, they want to be a millionaire. I said, that's it.
That's all.
That's it. And then think about it. I said, so now I got a client, and she may see this thing, this production, but when she asked me, she said, I want to get to 500,000. I said, well, I'm looking at it. You're already at 450. She said, I am. I said, yeah, you don't look at it. I meet with her once a month. So then she said, wow, how did I do it? I said, 18 months. And here we are.
That's
So,
amazing.
so
Now,
my goal.
what would have been the original investment on something like that for 18 months for it to reach that? If
She
or you
started
can
with
use okay.
$3,000. She started with $3,000. Now I got
Okay.
clients that start with five. I just onboarded one client. She started out with $5. But remember, I'm teaching you something. Whether it's a $1 or $1,000,000, it's the same principle. Just like you drive to work every day, you know you're gonna get up and do the same routine. So it's about behaviors that I teach that say, okay, you really want to be successful, start out with $1. Turn that $1 into two. Then we come back to meet. How did you do that? What did you learn from that? Now, when I say, if you won't commit $1, when you make 20 grand, and I say play $10,000 on this trade, you're not going to do it because you don't trust the process. So I show you how to turn $1 into two, two into four, and so forth and so on, and how to sustain that because you want the small wins over and over and over and over. Every now and then you have a big win, but you want to have the small wins because now you're changing your behavior of how you look at your money. So right now, I'm teaching, like with me, and the beauty of this, I should have lived with this too. We're going to get you to 100,000, one, and
Right.
I don't tell you to buy nothing that I haven't bought.
As far as when you're talking about particular stocks
The
or
particular stocks.
particular options or whatever.
Bingo. So
Right.
anything I tell my clients to buy, I have bought or I'm in or sold before I tell you. That's something that nobody else does. Nobody else in this whole industry is not going to tell you that, hey, I'm going to tell you every month I push out stocks. Every stock up there, I have been in or put an option on it, a put, call, something before I tell you. Reason why I do that is because when I talk to you about it, I got to be able to speak from experience.
Yeah.
So before I tell you, Dietrich, buy fuel cell, you're like, what is fuel cell? Carbon capture. I roll that, da, 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 da. Because
Right.
I have lost money with it. I have made money with it. And by the time I show it to you, it's in the right season for it to make money. So
I made the most money I've ever made in the stock market with fuel cell.
there you go. And listen, and that's why we don't market. We use word of mouth. He told you his experience. And fuel cell is about to do something great within the next 30 days too. So you might want to buy some more. Just FYI.
So a person listening might make 30,000, 45,000 a year. And they might hear these stories that you're saying. They say, those people are already probably wealthy that you're helping out. So yeah, it's probably easy for them to make money. So what would you say to a person who might have a lower income in regard to getting into the stock market outside of a 401k in this manner?
So it's the first thing I would say, you making $30,000. How much are you keeping of that? So you make $30,000. So say if I make, 300,000 and I got $290 worth of bill I'm paying, I'm only bringing home 10K. So if you're making 30,000, you only got $5,000 worth of bills, you're in the driver's seat. So I tell them you have to first look at your cash flow. Let's look at how that $30,000 is being utilized before we go put it in the stock market, because it may be something where you say, hey, I got $30,000 before I tell you put $1 in stock market. I want you to create a budget. Let's look at your pull your credit report. Let's see your top and bottom lines, because I want you to think of yourself as a business. Once you identify how much money that's left over from that 30,000, then we will come up with a plan and say, okay, out of the 30,000, you really only got $100 that you can safely to invest. Because once you put it in the stock market, I try to teach people, if you're going to invest in something that it can stay in there for at least 10 years. If you're going to trade, you can be aggressive as you want, because that money is put in there for one reason, to turn $1 into two as quickly as possible. So when you first come in with a 30,000, are you trying to be a trader or you trying to be an investor? There's two different mindsets you got to have. I do both. I trade and I invest in every dollar that I get. Before I pay my bills, I put it in the stock. I'm not telling your viewers to do this.
Right.
I put my money in the stock market first. Then as I need it, I take it out. Because my thing is this, because I'm trying to, if I only need $10,000 to keep my cost of living up monthly, if I'm making 20 grand, I'm gonna put, that entire 20 in the market. and then I'm gonna see if I can turn that 20 into 30, and then the 10,000 I made, that go, and I'm still sitting there at 20. That's how I do my money. So it's a lot of ways to skin this cat, but ultimately,
right.
it's what the client wants to do, and then I try to show them how to sustain their current behaviors and maybe tweak some behaviors if they're not healthy when you're looking at your money.
What is an option?
So option is a way you can get into the stock market by controlling shares. So an option, when someone say, I don't have any money to trade, I say, well, how much money can you trade? They say, I got $5. Now, you can find some options that you can get for maybe 3 cents per contract. So a contract is worth 100 shares. So that 3 cents times 100, that's $3. So now with that $5, you can take $3 of that, put on an option contract, and control 100 shares of, Tesla or, Bank of America. And then if that stock hits a certain price point, top or bottom strike price, you can cash out. So a lot of people, when you hear those stories, oh, I made $90,000, $100,000 in Tesla options, that's how they did it. But they didn't tell you when they placed those options. They probably placed those options a year ago when Tesla was just an afterthought. Tesla gets hot. You bought an option that Tesla was $100 a year ago. It's $200 now. Of course, you're going to be in the money.
Right.
So that's what I tell people. It all depends on how you're looking at making a play on a trade or position and having ownership. But I always tell people doing options first is a no-go for our strategy. We want you to learn how the stocks are moving so you can try to predict the price points over time. And a lot of people just try to come in and be, a great thinker of how stocks going to move. And you start playing options, you losing money every Friday.
Let me just stop right here and say welcome to everybody who's here to watch Michael. You're watching Of Two Mindsets. We would love for you to go ahead and hit the like button, and right below the video where you see our logo with that chess piece, click on the logo and then click subscribe if you haven't already. So Michael, what will you say to people who say, this sounds like gambling to me and I'm totally against gambling?
So you're doing it anyway, because if you work in corporate America or any job that has a 401k or 403b, you just giving them their money and they're making the same plays you can make. So I would tell people, it may not be for everybody, but if you really want to pass on wealth, this is the best way to do it, because is this how you build that generational wealth? So a lot of people, they say, well, I'm just gonna get a life insurance policy, and then when I die, I can leave that policy to the kids. That's fine. Do both. Think about it. If you took out $1 a day, our parents took out $1 a day on us when we was born, and give it to you when you turn 40, you will have a nice nest egg to probably to pay off your house, buy a new home, or just start, get out of debt or whatever. But people don't think about the small amounts because they don't see time. People only live in the now. It's the time is what you can't get back. So let your money work for you over time. And that's how I would tell folk, it's not a gambling. It's not a ticket, because you're not losing anything, because you're taking ownership in companies over time.
But you say you're not losing anything, but we do hear about people losing money on the market, right?
So you only lose money if you sell it while the market is down. So say if I buy stock for $10 and it goes up $20, all right, you made $10. It goes down $5, just continue to hold it. You haven't lost anything. Now your value of that stock has lost value because the price is down, but you still have ownership in the shares. I can see if you lost shares, you're only losing the value of those shares. Because think about it, when you were 19,
right?
Are you better now, or were you better then?
Usually now.
Now, but you're not as young as you were.
Right.
But you're more seasoned. You have more value, right?
For sure.
So that's why I like stocks. So, and say in your 30s, you might be in high, you may be at the bottom, but you still have you still have your future self. And that's how the stocks go. So don't look at it as being, I'm losing money. Look at it, you want to buy companies that are good quality companies that can be here for the test of time.
But I got to push a little bit further though.
Okay, let's go.
You earlier mentioned, companies going bankrupt, like Spirit
Correct.
possibly going bankrupt, and I
Correct.
don't know if we would consider Spirit a high quality company. But for people who are investing in a company like that, that looks like it's going to go bankrupt, there is a chance that those stocks will not go back up, right?
So question. So when you when you're looking at stocks, there's something called durable competitive advantage. So before you would have bought Spirit Airline, what is the durable competitive advantage that it has over Delta, over American Airlines, Southwest? It didn't have any. So when you bought it, it was already speculative in nature. So that was your gambling ticket when you could have just invested in Delta or Southwest or American. So you took the chance on that.
They took the
Correct.
chance because it was a less expensive stock.
Correct.
But I'm just getting the point across that
Correct.
yes, you can lose money in the stock market, right?
You can. That is a risk. I would say on our website, there's a disclaimer that there is a risk that you can lose money in anything that you do.
Absolutely.
But the likelihood that over time that you will lose money investing in stocks is not likely if you're looking at stocks with good, durable competitive advantage. In other words, economic moat that you can have that these stocks are doing good. So if you invested in Coca-Cola, think about it, if this was 1999 and we invested in Microsoft, and Microsoft was what? Let me see what Microsoft was back in 1999. And of course, my internet doesn't want to act right today.
So Mike,
what you got?
For where the economy is right now, I know like countries are prop the stock market's up because it'll make the public feel like the system is still doing good. What about your stocks that you choose you feel protects against what the economy got going on right now? Like how do you pick and choose to avoid, like the 2008 housing market crash, and then we got like the way houses are now, the car market now, tech stocks may not be doing too good. What is it about your picks that you feel like will protect your clients against the stock market?
So I mentioned the term durable competitive advantage. The stocks I select have a good advantage over other stocks in the market because they're gonna be here for the test of time. You mentioned something. You mentioned the stock market crashed. You mentioned COVID. You mentioned the housing crisis, all in our lifetime. You done been through possibly four. I don't. You look young. At least four catastrophic events that crashed the stock market. You could have been a millionaire 4 times over. And that's what people don't understand. The stock market is going to tank and recover. And then sometimes society, I hate to say it, the people who are the billionaires, when COVID happened, they said, yes, let it continue to drop. Let it continue to drop. Let it continue to drop. Let people sell these stocks. And what did they do? They bought. Now look, almost 4 years later, 2 years later, those stocks that were $20 are now $400. Now, if you knew this now, you'd be saying, man, the next time there's a war, the next time there's a pandemic, whatever I had, I'm going to put the kitchen sink on Microsoft, on Pepsi, on JP Morgan, on Walmart, on Coca-Cola, on Costco's, on stocks that that been here for your entire life. But that was a buying opportunity for us. And if you're older than me, you probably had 6 or 7 times that you could have took the same 10,000 or the same 5,000 or the same $100 and 10x your money consistently. And it's going to happen again. So now the next time it happens, instead of waiting to see Trump on TV every day talking about how many people died of COVID, waiting to see who's going to be on Instagram, or everybody was doing that little DJ thing where people was watching and the verses and all that stuff. That was a distraction. And then when they let us know that, hey, look at Dogecoin, look at Tesla, we flood in and drive the price even more because we was late to the party. So what I tell people, in your lifetime, there's going to be buying opportunities that's going to be life changing. Will you be ready? And I tell people, if I knew half of this when 1999, my entire family will be millionaires. Right. I promise you. And I will leave you with this. You said something in 1999. Microsoft was $19.
Wow.
It's $424 today.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's $400 per share. That's life changing.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If people would like to look into FSW, what's the website? And we'll post it on the description in the video. But if you could give us the link also.
So it's www.fsw-llc.com. All right. And when he posted the link, we give out stocks every month. It's stocks that I've researched. And I think, these are stocks that, for entry level, you start with these, you should be successful. And then as you tap into us, reach out to us, you can, on the site, you can go in and put your information and you can get on our newsletter. I send this out for free every month. You can take the information, use it, share it with your friend, fact check it, do whatever you want with it. I've been producing this thing for probably 3 years now, almost.
So, yeah.
Like clockwork. So, right. And it's free.
Can't be free.
It's free. It's free information.
So I know your company FSW, you focus on stocks, but you personally, how do you diversify your portfolio? Because even if you have your money in different stocks, it's still the same asset class. So it's really not diversified. Do you like deal with gold, silver, crypto, and stuff like that too?
Crypto. I'm looking to buy another property shortly. So real estate. I really like crypto, but I really don't tell people to get into crypto unless you're really passionate about it and you just really want to stand up that class. I got some. I'm trying to get into the gold and all of that stuff and other commodities. But to me, this is how I look at, gold and stuff. If the world should crash, what's going to be the value of gold?
It'll be worth about the same as a stock, I presume.
I
believe in gold and silver, and I like crypto too, and I have different stocks. But if the world get that bad, you got a lot of other things to worry about other than what you're invested in. So then you have to worry about water, shelter, food.
There you go. So you don't open up a whole nother can of worms. So if you look at the world ends, now you're gonna have skills. You're gonna have the barter system, right? You got 2 goats. I got some chickens. Give me 1 goat, I give you 10 chickens. So it's the way the currency is gonna change. Because now it's gonna be like, okay, I need some eggs, you need some milk. Let's barter, let's trade, let's do that piece. So if you gave me a gold bar, what I'm gonna do with it? Because it has no value to me for that moment of time. So when you're looking at gold, it's just stored value. So you got gold. It's backing what? Crypto. Bitcoin backs is the digital gold. That's why it has stored value, and everything else is around that. So I always tell people, don't get too heavy in crypto. Make your money off crypto, but unless you can go and I give you 0.5 Bitcoin for this cheeseburger, it doesn't have no true value for me at this current moment. But I do invest in it. So I'm just, I do that more of like a lottery ticket type thing, but I trade cryptocurrency at night.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's
I want to go back to the military for a moment. I know a lot of, we're at that age where people have retired from the military and like outside of athletes, professional athletes and lawyers and maybe doctors. The people that I know who have retired from the military, 20 years or so, they're doing very well. Um,
Absolutely.
and I know a young lady who just recently went into the Air Force.
Hmm.
She's early 20s. And I said, if you stay in there, do your 20 years or so, you're going to come out ahead of the game of the rest of your peers.
Absolutely.
But she said that nowadays the benefits and everything else is not as good as it was when
Yes.
people our age were going to the military. What do you know about that? Is that true, and is that the case?
So what happened was the military got smart. It was like, we got these people coming in doing 20 years, they're retiring at their 40, and now we got to pay them for the rest of their life a pension, and they ain't made nothing but $20,000 to $30,000 a year for the last 18 years, and now I got to give them like $3,000 to $5,000 a month for the rest of their life. So what
Right.
they said, okay, let's do it like the civilian sector. We can match what you put in first.
Mhm.
So now the mindset has shifted. So that first contract that you have, I may go in, I may, put no money in that. So
Right.
now that's 4-year contract of them not matching nothing. And now you started 4 years later. Now you're on your second contract. Now you at 10 years. Then you say, oh man, I need to start putting money away. You only put money away for a decade as opposed to 20 years. Now they got to match less of your money. So they
I
save
see.
money in the
I
long
see.
run. So when I tell folk, I said, hey, the old days of military are still there because you still get the medical, you still get the insurance, and that's worth its weight in gold. But if you're
Right.
telling a 19-year-old that, hey, like, I got a family of 5, I pay like $50 for my medical. That's unheard of because I was paying about
That's
$1,200 in the
yeah,
civilian sector.
that's
But
incredible.
but they're not looking at that benefit. They're
Right.
only looking at my pension, but nobody, those days are long gone. But who knows? They may need to drive the numbers back up and they may bring it back, but they give you the option of matching, but you first have to do something. And if they worked in the civilian sector, that's what we do now anyway. They match, up to a percentage of what you put in.
And
Gotcha.
I've heard those new stories of people saying that it's not as good as it used to be. And some of the best stories that I've heard of people blowing money are the older ones from,
Yeah,
from back, and just listen to some of the stories and what they spent the money on and the
yeah,
partying and just blowing the money. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And
yeah,
then the culture in the military is different because it's like it's like the brotherhood that you have there. You're gonna be here in the city for 2 years, then you're gonna be in another country for 2 years, and you come back to another city for 2 years, and they're moving you freely. The only thing you got to do is give them your body, but not really your mind. It's just your body for that given period of time.
Yeah.
So, and then if you look at it, back in the day, the military was much harder on your body than it is now because you got so much technology. You're doing a lot of stuff virtually. The stress is less, and then now everybody's trying to do. There's nothing wrong with mental health. I think it's great, but now it's like you can't really yell at the soldiers no more. You got to give them enough sleep. So you're not introducing a lot of variables to stress the body like you used to back when. I like Tia's dad, my wife. He's an old airborne soldier, so he went through stuff that I would never have went through when I went through basic training in my
Right.
time in the service. So, um, but still, it's still a good deal.
Yeah, I
They're
think
gonna
so
pay for
too.
your education, pay for your medical, and match you. You can't beat that, and you still can do less time. Think about it. You go to the civilian sector, you wait until what 60 something, 65, whatever it is, to get your money. That's
Average.
yeah,
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah. And the way the economy is, people working to 75, 80. So
It,
And,
work
yeah.
working to death, literally. So
Hey, D,
and
I think about that all the time, boy. Sometimes I wish I had just went to the military, boy.
yeah,
so so
absolutely, absolutely.
so Izzy, when you say that, man, so I know this is not the topic, but uh, a lot of people say, I wish that I could have, as opposed to saying what you are willing to do now. So you see what I'm saying? So if you went back, you were just going to make better decisions on your finances, your health,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
everything. So now you look, I don't know how old you are, but say if you live for another 40 years, what are you going to do with those 40? And that's what I be trying to tell folks, start today and plan for your future. Because a lot of people get stuck, and this is society, they want you to keep looking backwards. Because you keep looking backwards, you're not moving forward. So I know now that I'm giving you information that will change your life, right? But if you don't receive it, you'll go on tomorrow. You may watch the podcast. You may come back. You may ask DJ what he said the website was, right? But are you willing to make the changes? Because you got to change your behaviors. You got to change your paradigm to change your life. Right now, you're gonna wake up. I see that you like. I think that was a black. You're gonna probably no black. Probably I don't know. You play video games. You might hit Facebook, Instagram. Go to sleep. May watch some football. You're gonna wake up. First thing you're gonna do is go pee. Then you're gonna brush your teeth, take a shower, put on your clothes, and complain about, man, I hope this traffic ain't bad. Then you're gonna get to work, right? What's different between you and I, when I wake up, first thing I do, I check the stock market, the Asian markets. How are they opening up? Let me set myself up to try to turn this into two before I hit work. I try to make all my money by lunchtime. Why? Because that's my first 12 hours. Off the books. I do that every day consistently. And then the back half, if I didn't make what I want to make, I get focused dialed in on what I need to do. So when I look at you, man, I was like, hey, when you say, hey, I wish I would have did something, you got to get out of that dynamic. You got to change your paradigm. And that paradigm shift is your behaviors. You got to shift your behaviors, because when you shift it, which you are, it may be 10 years down the road. And I'm going to be still kicking it with D. We may be this podcast going to be syndicated. It's going to be all over the nation.
No doubt.
And we're going to have the same conversation. I said, man, you ain't started yet. You're going to hit the black. And we're going to be talking about chess.
You hypothetically speaking, because
I was waiting. I was waiting for Izzy to cut in. I was waiting.
Izzy, come on, Izzy, talk to me.
Yeah, I'll be letting you get it out. I mean, if you can't tell, I'm kind of versed in this kind of stuff. I mean, I pretty much, that's all I do every day. Is just financial literacy and a couple of other things. I mean, it's three intellectuals on this video right now, on this
I wouldn't
video.
necessarily call myself an intellectual, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, but you are though. You are though.
He is.
It's levels to this thing, but you definitely are intellectual. But yeah, I receive everything that you're saying right now, and I had been thinking lately about getting back in the stock. So whatever you send Diedrich, I definitely gonna look into it. Right now, I just been learning as much as I can about the economy and gold and silver. Like, that's what I've been learning about recently. I was heavy into crypto. I did make some money off of crypto. But where I'm at right now, I would like to get back in the stock.
So this is how you can hedge inflation in the stock market, because you can't save the money, because the dollar is going to be devalued big time, because they just print money. So this for you, from an economy perspective, the only way you can safeguard your money is to put it in something that can give you a return over time. And then as the dollar is just devalued, these evaluations on these stocks are going to be devalued. So now they're going to be, should be at a premium price. But you look at some of these stocks are, 10 times their earnings. I'm like, who will buy them now? You know what I'm saying? And try to play this field now. So you got to be a student of this and find stuff that are at a deal, or have, like I told you, that durable competitive advantage that's going to be here, and say, oh, that's a good value stock. Look at the balance sheet. You should be looking at those balance sheets constantly. Do they have long-term debt? Do they have growth? What their operational budget? Are they doing R&D? All these things. And I'm glad you're talking about that's going to, tip the scale. Should I buy it now or can I wait? People are buying NVIDIA and it's like 40 times earnings. So that means you go to the grocery store and you can buy a pack of sausage and it's going to be $40. You're not
It's
buying it.
It's overvalued.
It's way overvalued, but people
Yeah.
who are untrained are buying it because it's so gimmicky. The people who are making the money, they say, "Oh, don't fear missing out," right? So you go buy it, and then it crashes, and they don't make money because they bet against it as well. Because they
I
looking
like
at
to I like to jump in when I hear something that might be confusing to some people.
oh,
What is
okay.
it that you said is like 40 times over
So,
or
so
40
the,
times
the
as value?
so the price they're earning. So sometimes when things are getting too hot, right? You say, okay, the price this should be valued at $20, but it ballooned up to 60, and you're like, that's too high, because it's trading, 10 times earning, 3 times earnings, because now it's got an influx of people buying it just because people are trying to ride the hype, fear of missing out, and then that RSI goes over 70. And so now that price is way too high. So you want to make it come down a little bit.
What's the company that you mentioned though?
NVIDIA.
And what is it? Can you tell us about NVIDIA?
So NVIDIA is one of those, I think everybody, if you look at NVIDIA, and I'm pulling it up, you look at NVIDIA, it was trading, and now my internet. And I always like to give people real time stuff. So they said, well, you said it was this. And I'll say, no, if you look at it, I'm giving you what it is. So NVIDIA, it's actually 65 times earnings. So it's
Wow.
so it's so high. I'm like, so maybe you should pay in fair value for this should be, $60. But people
Gotcha.
are willing to pay 140 right now because it's the hot stock. So now if you
It's
come
a
in
tech
now,
company, right?
there again.
But it's a tech company,
Yeah,
right?
tech company. Yeah, tech company. So it's a tech company, semiconductor. So they build the chips that are just about in everything, the high power chips, running AI,
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Right.
So it was the hype, just like EVs was the hype and everything priced to earning. So if you look at something, and this is something that I teach, if you're looking at the groups, you look at the day performance of the different sectors. There's 11 sectors that you look at. So the consumer consumables last day was up, 2%. And you look at the last year, the tech sector is up 52 times. So it's performing. So if you bought it 12 months ago, you'd have made 50% on the tech sector, because people can trade in different sectors. So what I try to do is say, okay, what is your time horizon? Let's try to find stocks that are performing low within that 12 months. So you're buying them at a better price to earnings. So
Gotcha.
now when you buying them, you may have where it's right there and it's priced right. So when you buy, you have more time for your money to grow, as opposed to buying something like you're a seasoned vet. If I buy into you now, I could have got more bang for my money at a cheaper price if I bought you when you were 20.
Right.
Because you didn't have all the skill set. Not buying you at 40, you're going to cost more because you got all these different skills. So a lot of people coming in buying you at 40 when you only got, say, 20 more years of chef life. But when I can go find a mini D at 19 and buy him for $2, and now I got all that growth potential with more time. That's what Warren Buffett does.
Right.
He's probably the best investor ever, and he buys Coca-Cola, he buys, Microsoft, he buys Pepsi, he buys Chevron, he buys Exxon, he buys stocks, but he buys them for years. So he doesn't really look at the price that price to earn because he bought them right the first time. So that's why I tell people, if you buy right the first time, all of this, some people say, well, I wish I would have bought it. Well, you should have put your money in the house. I would tell people, put a mortgage payment on it. If you really like a stock, put a mortgage payment on it. So now you're investing in it because that's 1 month.
That's confidence right there.
That's confidence. And then you
Right.
go into it and then it, triples and doubles in value. Then you done made 3 mortgage payments or something like that. So trying to get people of like minds, because once I introduce a concept, I meet somebody and we feed off each other. Because
Right.
you may be in crypto, and I met somebody in the barbershop today. He liked XRP. And we had a conversation on XRP. And I said, why are you buying XRP? And that's the only crypto you're buying. Then I said, what type of utility does it have, et cetera, et cetera. I said, so he was like, I just bought it because it was coming out of litigation, whatever, and everybody said it was going to blow up. I said, okay, that's what you did. Fine. I said, but you should have just bought Bitcoin.
They've been in litigation for a while, though.
There you go. You know, but
It's
he
supposed
just
to be the business crypto. A lot of businesses were supposed to be using XRP, but
mhm.
it didn't pan out like the
They
way
want it,
everybody
right?
thought it
So
was. I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just telling him that. So I was like, why did you buy it? And he couldn't tell me. So I said, well, why you should have bought a lottery ticket. So as long as you know why you're buying something. So to me, that's what I want. So if I tell you to buy fuel cell, I can tell you why. If I tell you this is why I'm buying this, I'm gonna tell you why, what it means for me. So it's about the journey, because I believe in the stock is going to do something in my convention and say, okay, I can turn $1 into two. So when I meet different people, you may say a stock I never heard of. So I'm gonna write it down. And then when I get off the phone, I'm gonna go get knee deep in it. And I said, well, he's buying this for some reason. What is he seeing? Then I said, oh, that's what he's seeing. Then I'm gonna hit you with the text. Appreciate you, dog. And now I'm gonna say, hey, let's meet, let's talk once a week, and or link up. I'm gonna send you what stocks I'm looking at for that month. Are you seeing any of this? And when we start having a dialogue, now we in my ecosystem is a part of your ecosystem, and we can win together. And that's why when Dietrich was telling me about this, I said, yeah, I want to come on because I can connect with other people I would never met, but we have a mutual connection in D, and he family to me, he's family to you. So now our ecosystem just got bigger.
Yeah,
So,
you family to me too.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's why I was like, just meeting people is a beautiful thing, man. So
That's awesome, man.
and it's what it is.
Izzy, Michael is a family man, and I know
Oh yeah.
he's been up all day. You have any other questions for the good brother right now?
I was gonna ask a question, but it'll be probably a long conversation. We'll just
What's up, man?
no. I'll just you had mentioned Warren Buffett because what you said about gold
Yeah.
and silver. Because I'm so deep into it, it kind of bothered me a little bit.
What's up?
But
What's up?
but
What's up, man?
you mentioned Warren Buffett, and I know he has sold some of his stocks and lean heavier towards cash,
Correct.
so he can have some liquidity. And then with the countries and stuff buying up gold and silver now, does that not, like, I don't know if you know about that, or does it weigh on your mind to or invest into those kind of things? Like, because I see the value of it. Like,
so you see
does
this
hold value.
You see it's stored value.
Right.
So say if you was going to come up with your own currency, what's back in your currency? It would be your gold and silver that you possess, right?
Right.
So then for you, say if how are you going to safeguard your gold and silver? You're going to have to put it somewhere else, right? So is it really yours if it comes down to it?
What you're saying is, and I know what you're saying, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I'm not talking about an ETF. Right. I don't deal with ETFs.
Okay.
If I'm going to buy silver or gold, I'm gonna get it and hold it personally.
Yep.
So I'm not talking about an ETF.
So this is what I tell people. What are you gonna do with it? You're just gonna cash it out. You're gonna
stop. See, to me, gold and silver is basically, like you said, it's a value holder, so it's a hedge against inflation.
Correct.
Also, to keep your money from devaluing. So I would put it in gold and silver to keep it from devaluing. Now, you would make your money if you wanted to make money by leaps and bounds off of stocks and crypto. But in order to hold that value, to keep it from depreciating because of the inflation.
Correct. So this is what I try to tell you. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to send a gold bar to somebody in China, how are you going to do it?
Oh, it's not as liquid as.
There you go. So
I get that, but it's never going to go anywhere because, like they say, gold and silver is God's money. So it's always been around and it's always going to be valuable.
Correct.
But it's not as liquid as, of course, as cash. Cash is the most liquid, or stock or crypto. But
so you always got to say this. It's nothing wrong with you holding precious metals, in whatever commodity you want. But what is your end state with it? Your end state is just to cash it out or pass it on to your children's children. But if your end state is not developing something for you to go out and use it and back it. So say if you had the Izzy dollar bill, and they're gonna say, how many Izzy's you got? I got $10 worth. And you can back your Izzy money. Now you created your own currency. So now what utility are you doing it with that? So right now you having gold and silver, it's just backed really by what? Nothing. You just own it because you're gonna eventually using it for its stored value to cash out at some point for what? Money. So I would tell people, you're holding it. You can have 1,000 gold bars in your backyard. The world ends. The fiat currency, all that just goes away. And you go to the grocery store and say, hey, I want a bag of chips. They're going to say, what you using to pay for it? Here's a gold bar. Are you going to give them a gold bar for that bag of chips? Yeah, if you're hungry enough. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, when you're doing that stuff, what is your end state? Your end state, you have that money because you know there's value in it, stored value, but you never are going to cash it out until the end of your days to transfer it to somebody else, or you just going to give that gold bar, and that gold bar is going to be a gold bar that's 10 generations from now. They say, oh, Izzy gave this gold bar and we got it sitting on the mantle. It's worth a brick, $10,000 by that time, but I ain't going to sell it because now it has sentimental value to me. It's an heirloom. Think about it. And then if the apocalypse happened and we got to go back, that gold bar is going to be the first thing you leave because you're not going to be able to carry the 2-3 gold bars in your bag.
You can turn the gold bar into gold chips, gold coins. How about that?
Okay. How about this? When the last time you've been to Chuck E. Cheese? You put $1 in a slot machine, they give you Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Those Chuck E. Cheese tokens are like the best thing ever inside of Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
You take those same tokens and say, hey, I paid $20 for these tokens, and you go try to use those Chuck E. Cheese tokens at McDonald's, they're going to look at you and say, no, they have no value here. But no, these is $20 worth of gold Chuck E. Cheese tokens. They're going to say, you're crazy. They're probably going to call the law on you. But if you go to another Chuck E. Cheese, you're going to walk right in door and say, oh, you good. You can use them here because they have utility only in Chuck E. Cheese. So that's why I tell people, you buying Bitcoin and all crypto, what ecosystem are you in? Are you in some country in South America who is using Solana or Cardano or Bitcoin stuff? But if the America doesn't say, hey, we're going to identify Bitcoin on our ledger, on our books, that we're going to use this so you can start using Bitcoin, it's going to devalue the dollar. So it's never going to kick off.
So would you say that itself, what you're saying right now, that's the value of, say, the US dollar? It doesn't matter if anything physically backing it like gold. It's the fact that people have decided this is what we accept. Correct. And that acceptance is where the value is.
It's the world currency. So if you ever go to another country and you open up an American dollar, they're going to take it gladly. And they will prefer you to pay with US dollar.
That may be true, but y'all, you see, since we came out the gold standard, what has happened to the dollar. So
yeah,
and that confidence don't mean that at the end of the day, it's still inflating the money away. So
true. So what currency would you use?
I mean, at this moment, I mean, you got these other countries creating bricks, and they're going to be I forgot the terminology they use. It's going to be pegged to gold, supposedly, not actually backed, but pegged. So they'll be going by the price points of gold, as far as their denomination of money and how they value their money. But the dollar, I mean, I don't know any currency right now that's actually backed by gold because you don't know. Right. I mean, no country that I can think of. I know BRICS is supposedly supposed to be pegged to gold, but not actually backed by it. So
this what the challenge is. If there's another country that puts the US dollar off the map, the world will be over, in my opinion. because I mean the U.S. dominates everything. The U.S. dollar.
I mean, the dollar is the standard, but that's coming to an end. I mean, the writing, it's not even writing on the wall, it's actually happening. That's the whole purpose of BRICS right now,
Yeah.
and what they got going on. And more countries are actually being added to BRICS. So when you use the dollar as a weapon, when you weaponize the dollar and say, well, if you don't do this, you don't do that, we're gonna sanction you, we're gonna seize your assets and this and that, you're weaponizing the dollar. So it's coming to an end.
So
if you don't pay attention, these countries are buying up gold and silver in rates that have never been seen before. That's
absolutely.
why I was trying to get to that point and see why you felt the way you did about it.
So one thing in the military. So say if there's a country that we want to be a part of, what we do is we'll go dock a ship on their port and say, we're going to give you free dental screening, right? And when we dock in there, that's to cover all your people. Because think about it, all the countries that you say that be doing this, what is their way of life? How their civilians living? How their culture, right? It's not like America. Maybe there's some countries out there that got a good democratic system, maybe in Europe, but China dictatorship, North Korea dictatorship, communist, all that stuff. And then South America, anything else, yeah, they may have that, but the value of their people is what you got to look at, because that's what it's gonna. You're gonna have a rich government, but your people are living in poverty. So that's the to me the trade-off. So you may have a country that got all the gold and silver, but what the people look like, and So we're about there, but I don't know the last time you've been out of the country to another country, but it's not nice. It's not nice.
But if you look at what's going on in America now, the middle class is almost non-existent. I mean, you have the rich or the well-to-do and the poor almost. Like it's barely a middle. So we getting there. So I don't know. We'll have to really continue this another conversation.
And last time I want you to look at the amount of money that Black America is spending.
Yeah.
And if we fix that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So
we need to focus our efforts and our spending.
So we're spending more than countries and just on things. So when I tell people when I say people invest, my voice is not heard because society wants us to continue to spend. And as long as we keep spending, they're gonna be making the rules, and like you're very conscious on it. That's why I'm glad I met you, because I'm seeing it from a different viewpoint. But I'm seeing that if they keep us in this cycle of just spending, and if they inflate the dollar or whatever, devalue the dollar, what we're gonna do? Spend more, because we don't know how to pull it out of the system. So they know they give us a stimulus check. We didn't save it. We went and spend it. They know how to pump money into the economy to try to fix it, to level it out so they can get their money out of it. And then when we get some money, okay, what are we going to do? We're not going to invest. We're not going to put it in something that's going to cause infection. We're not going to buy commodities. We're going to do what? We're going to go to the mall and we're going to buy Jordans. We're going to go to the mall. We're going to buy jewelry. We're going to go somewhere and buy these luxury cars and do whatever. But then we're going to come back and just get in that constant vicious cycle of spending money. So as long as we're spending, now think about this. If we stop spending for 1 year, what you think gonna happen to the economy? That's when it's gonna crash. When we take our money out of this economy and stop spending and start investing our money, they're gonna change the rules. Right now,
exactly.
But now we're so blind to the fact. So that's why I tell people, when we make it conscious, we have these conversations here. We say, before I go spend $100 on a t-shirt or $250 shoes are $250 now. That's unheard of.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So you're gonna put the pause and say, let me think about this. But it's gonna take more than just us. It has to be a cultural change. Then they inject social media and propaganda and stuff to try to steer you away from the truth.
Mike, I wore some $200 shoes to work today, man. So
Jesus
you're
Christ.
not going to shame me for that, right?
He's part of the problem. He's part of the problem. So
hey,
so
Michael
I really
Smith.
enjoy this. I enjoy this, man. I
Michael
said we need
Smith
to do this.
is the co-founder and the chief operating officer of FSW. And I'm so glad you were able to come and join us today. Izzy, I
Yes,
didn't
yes.
cut you off, did you? Were you finished,
No,
Mr.
no,
Izzy?
no, no, no. Yeah, I was done this time. Yeah,
Izzy, send me your contact, man. We need to have some. I need to put you in my weekly discussion.
man, I can't. You talking about me?
Yeah, send me your. Did you
Okay.
send me
You
his
don't even
contact?
remember me, do you?
We,
I,
we'll get into that after the
Yeah,
yeah,
show.
yeah.
We'll get into it after the show.
So you threw me off with the wave cap, man.
No, bro.
But if you want to reach out to Michael, you can reach the website at fsw-llc.com. We're going to put that in the description of the video after the show. And
Absolutely.
Michael, again, it's a pleasure. For everybody else, please subscribe, like the video, and leave comments. And maybe Michael will reach out to you. And
So I got a question. Can I just pop in and be a special guest,
hey,
or
man, we're
just
gonna have
come
you.
in and talk
We're
with y'all?
definitely gonna have you back, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt.
I love this, man. I
We're
love
gonna
this.
have a money issue of two mindsets or something. But
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
it don't
sir.
even have to be that for
Yeah, I
sure.
just like the conversation, man. Y'all some
Absolutely,
good minds.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
absolutely. Well, thank you, sir. And this is of Two Mindsets. I'm D Hill. He's Izzy. Michael Smith with FSW. Thank you, sir, and peace to everybody.
Peace.
Y'all be blessed.